Good morning, I'm Richard Vobes, I'm the Bald Explorer, and today I'm out of breath. I'm walking England. This is my series of YouTube walks, and today I'm walking in Shropshire, a hill, an amazing hill called the Wrekin. And I'm on the rather delightful unmetalled path that clambers in a sort of spiral up the hill. And quite lucky that this morning it's got some sunshine, although it is going to cloud over a little later, so I hope that by the time I get to the top it won't be cloudy and that we can get some stunning views over the Shropshire Plain. That is the plan. The Wrekin is it's a strange volcanic hill that has its own legend associated with it, as you could imagine. I'll tell you one of the little myths shortly. It's just over 1,300 feet above the Shropshire Plain. That's, I think, 407 metres, more or less. And we're filming in September, and it's interesting that all on the ground I can see the acorns, and they drop down from these immense oak trees that are here all around. One of the things I'm interested in spotting and examining is the old Iron Age hill fort that's up on the top. I'm believed to be inhabited by the Cornovi tribe, one of the ancient Britons here that were here before the Roman invasion of 43 AD. And probably from up here, where they ran their tribe, they could probably watch the invading centurions as they marched towards them. It is a popular route, and on weekends, bank holidays, it does get quite busy. I've chosen an early morning on a weekday when the kids are now back at school. I can hear, it's amazing, I can hear the acorns dropping. Unfortunately, you probably won't be able to capture them on the camera, but they are from these fabulous trees. Just climbing a steeper bit here. It is quite a steady pace. It looks like, as I just come up here, there's a little cafe on my left. Looks like you can, it says between 8 and 6 cold drinks are available. A halfway house. How delightful. And I imagine some people probably need to have a little bit of refreshment as they get up onto these heights. Morning. It is a good place for runners, walkers of course, and people training their bodies to keep fit, I guess. This rock formation I read this morning is volcanic, as I mentioned earlier. 680 million years old when it was formed, the lava flow that came from the ground all that time ago. Now, I believe we go round here and clamber up. The route is shrouded in trees, so you don't get so much of a view on the way up, but I'm rather hoping that when you get to the top, you'll get a splendid view. So, what of the myth? Then the legend of the Wrekin, or at least one of them that I read this morning, and I'm sure there are plenty. The legend is there was a giant who for whatever reason had it in for Shrewsbury, and he wanted to flood Shrewsbury by blocking up the River Severn. So he's a giant, remember, he took a massive spade full of earth, and he was en route with this earth to block the river. And he came across a cobbler, an itinerant cobbler, who had on his back hundreds of shoes that he had gathered ready to be repaired. And the giant asked the cobbler, "Where is Shrewsbury? I want to block it and flood it." Well, the cobbler was fortunately quick thinking, and he said, "Oh, it is many, many miles from here, Sir Giant. It is a long, long walk. Look at all the shoes that I have worn out on my journey trying to find it." And the giant thought, "Oh, I don't fancy walking too far with this great big shovel of earth and stone and rock." So he dumped it where he stood, and that apparently is this, the Wrekin. Of course, it has no grain of truth whatsoever to it, I shouldn't imagine. Or if there is, there may be a giant lurking nearby. To me, the Wrekin just sprouts out of the ground like a dragon, a resting dragon. And now we're getting steeper. Well, I do believe I have just got through Hell Gate behind me there, on the Iron Age hill fort, and up ahead on the little track here is Heaven's Gate, and then I'm in the Iron Age hill fort. There was a little steepy bit there, and you can tell that I'm somewhat out of breath. You would think I would be fit enough for this. And probably if I wasn't carrying all the very, very heavy equipment that I have to carry, it would have been fine. And here we see a couple of walkers in the far distance, and that, I believe, is Heaven's Gate. There is mention of the Wrekin in early documents, but not until the 11th century, I'm guessing after the Normans came down. I say came and invaded and started to write stuff down. The Romans, of course, wrote stuff, but not a lot. Only a lot of our history comes from the Roman period, from Tacitus, of course. And the Anglo-Saxons, they kept their chronicle, which was very good. But the Normans were the ones that really invested us in the millions of bits of literature that we have. I'm afraid to say the sunshine has all gone. It started out with bright sunshine, and now here a bit of a microclimate up here. Whenever you drive past the Wrekin, you get this, you see it's shrouded in its own atmosphere, low cloud. You get some stunning pictures if you can stop off the M54 to take them. So here is Heaven's Gate. I don't know who's named them, but I'm sure it wasn't the Anglo-Saxons here. An interesting comment to add, that when the Normans were here, they didn't call the hill the Wrekin, although it does come from, I think it's Welsh, but they didn't call it the Wrekin. They called it Mount Gilbert, after a hermit. I guess his name was Gilbert, who lived up here. let's go through this ancient gate, which of course probably would have been much taller, the mounds either side with a wooden palisade. And here we are, misty and not so clear as I had hoped, cold as well and windy. Well, I've just come the other side of the trig point, the highest point here on the Wrekin. Well, the views have gone, absolutely gone. I'm going through the other gate here. I don't know what this one's called. The weather is abysmal now, suddenly changed. I think it's threatening rain, but I just wanted to come down here away from the radio mast, because just in case it interferes really with the recording. I've had it do that before. It's a shame about the views. The excuse me, the views are absolutely non-existent, and as I mentioned about the microclimate up here, but actually of course today it isn't just up here, it is all round, except that I'm probably in the thick of it, and if you get back down onto the ground it's probably all right, although as I look on the ground there's no sunshine at all. But there we are. So to finish off, let me just tell you a rhyme by Edward Lear that goes, "There was an old man from the Wrekin whose shoes made a horrible creaking. But they said, 'Tell us whether your shoes are made of leather, or what, you old man of the Wrekin.'" So there we are. I hope you've enjoyed my walk, and I hope you've enjoyed what you can see of the Wrekin. If ever you get the chance to come up here, it's definitely worthwhile. Pick a slightly better day than I have, and you'll see, if I just show you here, some of the volcanic rocks. Well, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, press the bell notification, that way you'll get notified every time I make an upload, and write a comment. Tell me about your trip to the Wrekin or some hills that you've been to. Oh golly, there's a bit of a precipice here. This is going to make me nervous. So I'm hoping I don't fall over the edge. Have a look at this just before I go. Oh my God. I'm a bit of a scaredy cat when it comes to heights. So until next time, goodbye.